Most MSPs are led by owner-led sales, meaning the owner of the MSP is the one doing the sale. Now, larger MSPs typically start to hire people, and they hire what is called an SDR, a sales development representative. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down what does an SDR actually do, so that way you don't have to do all the legwork for every single sale and find the lead and nurture the lead and all that good stuff. But also, what do you look for in a quality SDR? Somebody that can help you generate more leads by either doing the manual outreach and going into more in-depth stuff in this video, as well as making your life a bit easier so you can focus on the things that actually matter. Closing deals and making sure the business runs the way that you want the business to run. How are you doing? My name is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com. We help MSPs just like you build and grow their MSP by teaching you how to sell their services, but also not only how to sell their services, how to generate an unlimited number of leads into your business so you're not worried about when you're hiring your next SDR, although they are super, super useful. And I have a very, very big announcement coming up. And if you're watching this video, it'll be released in a couple videos from now. I'm working on something super, super cool. If you're a part of the community, you probably already know. And if you want to be a part of that community, you could head over to the resources section and go under the Discord area, or go to growth-generators.com/Discord. We are 1,500 members strong and growing. There is no payment. There is no commitment. You could jump the Discord. If you don't like it, you can leave, and vendors are welcome, although it is required that you are flagged as a vendor. There's a little thing in there that will tag you as a vendor, just so people know. We just ask you to be a part of a community, help other people where you can, and enjoy, read, learn, and I appreciate you for checking out these videos. So let's talk about what does an SDR actually do? And even before I get into that, most MSPs, like I was mentioning, are owner-led sales. And this is great because the owner knows the ins and outs of the business. They know everything from how much money they should be charging, how much money they're going to be making, who is a great paying customer, who's a good fit for the business. But at some point or another, that MSP owner has a limitation in time and, truthfully, in energy. And this is where you can have an SDR come in. Your goal as an MSP is to actually start to build and hire people so that they can take care of the legwork for you so you can build and scale a business. By you building and scaling that business, it helps everybody throughout the organization make more money, get paid, provide benefits, and truly build a business that provides for you and your family and for your team's families as well. So one of the key roles is the owners have to do a lot of that work. That requires networking, that requires cold calling, cold emailing, warming those people up, reaching out, having lunch, all of those good things. And while those are great sales activities, at some point or another, it's not the best use of the MSP owner's time by investing it in trying to do that work. This is where an SDR comes in, a sales development representative. So what does an SDR actually do for an MSP? Now, in other larger businesses, they are, in many cases, a glorified cold caller. But in the MSP world, it's a little bit different when it comes to that because they're usually doing a lot more because our customers last longer. They're bigger deals. They're going to be with that MSP for a long time. And it's also a bit longer of a sales cycle. One of the things that most people don't want to talk about is you're not going to make a phone call today, a cold call today, and you're going to close them next week. It's a nice pipe dream, but that's not reality. In some cases, you are going to have some early wins and some wins like that. But the vast majority of deals are not like that. They have to start with something simple, a conversation. And the whole job of an SDR is to get people talking. Now, depending on the type of SDR that you hire, some SDRs can go out and find those leads and then help you get those leads through the pipeline. Or some SDRs are saying, hey, give me the leads. I will take care of everything going forward. And many SDRs are going to do a variety of different outreaches, sometimes by phone, sometimes by email, LinkedIn, text. There's a variety of ways to communicate, but those are the core ones. Phone, email, LinkedIn, text are the most common ones. And when I say phone, I mean physically. I know it's scary talking to people on the phone, but physically picking up the phone and making that call. Texting people, yes, people still do that. Email, LinkedIn, and I've even heard Facebook being a fantastic option depending on where your customer actually lives. But they focus on starting a human connection, not drip sequences, not drip emails, not cold emails, and they're not focused on closing the deal. Think about it. You have to get somebody a little bit excited, a little bit warm to end up wanting to do business with you. And that's exactly what a SDR is actually designed for. They are designed to warm up that pipeline, add a little heat there to get people interested in working with you. An SDR out of that lead list will go through and help find the people who match your ideal customer. Now, if you don't know who your ideal customer is, don't sweat it. We've already made a resource for it under the resources area. And you could go down and grab a buyer persona. It's somewhere on here. There's a lot of things, but you can go grab a free buyer persona worksheet or template, and you can go through there and fill that out. That buyer persona worksheet is something that you can fill out and say, hey, this is our dream buyer persona. Or you can build an ICP, an ideal customer profile, and hand it to the SDR and say, hey, these are the people that we do a really, really good job with. You might have a massive database, but only a portion of those people are going to be perfect fits for your business. What they can do is they can confirm interest with those companies, collect information, maybe that they're unhappy with their current provider, they're in a contract for a long period of time, whatever it may be. And basically what they're trying to do is get prospects ready for a sales call, right? And that sales call can be a quick phone call with an actual salesperson, or it could be an on-site discovery, going there and actually finding and reading and understanding what's going on in the business. And when I say reading, I mean looking at hardware and seeing, hey, what's actually in there. My favorite tool, by the way, is this silly little plot device. I've talked about it in the past. It is still it is the best sales tool you can ever have for an actual salesperson. But the goal is to get them to qualify so that way they're not wasting time. What they're going to do is they want to qualify that prospect. They're going to ask super simple questions. They want to ask questions like, are they the right size? Do they have problems that you can actually fix? And what I mean by that is truth story, hand to God, this is a real thing. But if I'm going to tell you a true story, well, I'm going to tell you the true story anyway, but it would help the channel if you hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, or if you're listening to the podcast version of this, when you pull over, if you're driving or when you're not lifting weights at the gym, if you choose to listen to my voice at the gym, if you could give it a great review, I would appreciate it. But what their goal is to do and what they want to prevent is that business owner or that salesperson going on site and finding something that they can't fix. Now, my story is I went on site one time and I was super excited. It was, I want to say, like a 50 to 70 person company. They had a manufacturing side in the back of the building. And if I said the name of this business, I guarantee you every single person watching this, at least if you were born in the United States, probably knows this company. And they produced books and manuals and guides and things like that you'd find in a school system. And they had a bunch of people up front, designers, editors. The back was where they printed the books and shipped them out, and the front is where they designed a lot of these different things. And I was like, this is going to be great. I'm going to tee it up. I'm going to make a bunch of money at the time, and I'm super excited. It was right after we came up with the new pricing, and they were already ecstatic to work with us. So what do? I walk in the back. I'm talking to, they wanted us as a backup or basically an MSP with a technician. They had a technician on site or an IT person on site that we would be supporting, right? And he was going to pass us level 2 and level 3 work and help with the network so he didn't have to work with it. Perfect relationship. And he was very excited to work with us. Well, I walked in the back, and in the back, they had this beautiful glass server room. I mean, something out of a movie. There was a large rack there, and in there was a DOS server. And I was like, and keep in mind, this is like 2023, 2024, maybe 2025. And I'm like, that's pretty interesting. At the time, truthfully, I didn't even know what that was. We didn't even learn about that. I go, what is that? And he goes, oh, it's a DOS server. I was like, okay, I know what DOS is. Why is this ancient artifact powered on in this business? This is very interesting. And next to it, he had a floor to ceiling stack of boxes that were all what looked to be hard drive boxes. And I go, what's all that? And he goes, oh, well, those boxes are all hard drives. And basically my job now is checking eBay every single day and buying all of the hard drives for DOS servers. So that way, if one fails, I can immediately replace it. So my goal is to buy as many as I can to make sure that this server never goes down. They never invested in technology. Great. Guess what would have been great? An SDR to ask those questions. This was a problem that our team 100% couldn't fix. And this was an hour into the meeting. Hours of prep, an hour into the meeting, and then I realized that there's not a chance that we could ever help them. So we want to make sure that they're booking a meeting that's worth actually taking. That's what an SDR should do. And they should be prospecting those clients and qualifying them as fast as they can. And last but not least, they're keeping track of the outreach. They're keeping track in a CRM. Now, if you choose to get Go High Level through Growth Generators and MSP Heroes, I appreciate the heck out of you. But if you're using something like the free version of HubSpot, no shade, you could use Zoho, you can use Pipedrive. There's so many great CRMs out there. We use Go High Level, and I recommend everybody use it. It's a fantastic, fantastic tool. There is an affiliate link down below, and I don't really care if you use it or not. It does help the channel. And what they're doing is following up with potentially good leads. Hey, my contract doesn't end for a year. Great. They're going to reach out to them once a quarter until they're at that 9-month mark and then start to nurture them. And they help an organization stay organized so that way no leads get lost. They're logging the information into a CRM, they're following up and making sure leads don't slip through the cracks so the pipeline of potential new deals is always full and you're always growing that monthly recurring revenue. So let's talk about some of the great traits that you should look for. And I don't recommend a brand new MSP hire an SDR. I would recommend somebody that is growing, building a team, has a few employees, but doesn't have time to do the labor intensive cold calling. And I've even seen SDRs out and about at networking events and that kind of thing to see and try to qualify great prospects. So what are some of the great traits an SDR has if you're an MSP that's actually ready to go hire one? One, they are confident, but they are calm. They don't get shaken by rejection. Their job is pretty much to get rejected regularly. They sound super relaxed, super friendly, and they don't push people too hard. Their job is not to make the sale. They don't have to be the bad guy that says, put the pen on the paper, right? If you don't give me, the John Hancock, we're done. That is not their job. Their job is to truly ask great questions, figure out if somebody is or is not a good fit, and then set up a meeting with a salesperson. And maybe that salesperson is the owner or an actual sales team or salesperson that is designed to go close those deals. They're also naturally curious. They love to ask questions. I think most people are pretty curious in the MSP space, but they should be asking great questions that gets prospects' minds moving, but also gets data out of them and gets information out of them to qualify or disqualify them. And they want to understand the people that they're talking to, the person they're talking to, the type of business that they actually run. This curiosity helps them uncover tons and tons of issues, from thorns in their side, pain, catastrophic failures, depending on who's actually going to tell you these things. And they're also great listeners. I'm sure we've all heard the thing, you have 2 ears, 1 mouth. You should be listening to 80% of the time and talking 20% of the time. And that's true. They should be paying attention and listening. They want to hear what other people are saying, what they're truly saying, the message that they're trying to convey, not just the words that are coming out of their mouth. They should also be clear talkers. Now, in many cases, they are already probably good at these things, but if they're talking in either jargon or things that seem overly complex, they're probably not a great fit. You want to remove all that tech jargon. They want to remove all the explainers. They don't want it to be super short and super dry, almost like you're talking to a robot, but it should be well articulated without the confusing stuff at the end. They should also be high energy. Now, I'm not saying crushing 3 Red Bulls before they start calling. I'm talking about somebody that can actually go through and talk to somebody. They should be happy about the job that they do and well rested. I know that's a hard thing to come by nowadays. Don't come after me. I just got a great night's sleep the night before. But they don't let bad clients slow down their day. They don't bring the drama in. And truth be told, they just seem like a great person. They seem like, wow, this person's a great asset to the team. And I've grabbed a little, I want to show you guys kind of a good idea of what an SDR actually does here. And I'm going to share my screen. But I found this image online, and I think it's a good representation. I wasn't going to remake it myself or throw in my own ideas because, truth be told, I'm a little strapped for time today. But this gives you a good idea. An SDR is going to work on the leads, they're going to work on the qualified leads. And right when they start to get to the point where there's an opportunity for a sales meeting, an opportunity to pass that off, or they think, hey, this is something that really could be something serious. There's obviously a want here, and they're probably interested in at least learning a little bit more. This is when it gets passed over to either an account executive, a dedicated salesperson, or owner-led sales. And I found this, I thought it was pretty interesting, and I wanted to bring it up here. And for those of you that want to screenshot it, you can screenshot it on the video. But this is what's really important. They're helping the organization stay organized and make sure that those leads never fall through. And now here's the most important thing. When you're hiring an SDR or any type of salesperson, you want to make sure that you have an ironed out sales process. They might bring great information into the organization, which is fantastic, but you as the owner, or you as the sales executive, have to have something in place that they can follow. That way, when they're following it, they're not getting lost. It's a simple and easy process. They're coachable in this case. They're coachable in building that process and following that process that works great for your MSP. That is the most important thing. That is what they're doing for your MSP. Now, before you go, you know the golden nuggets are always at the end. But I want to make sure I let you know what makes an SDR super successful at an MSP. Because yes, you can hire a great person. Yes, they could be super coachable. But I want to give you just a little bit more and obviously you already now know what to look for. They have clear scripts and simple messaging. They need to know what to say. They're not inventing something new. Now, they might take those scripts and modify it and massage it to make it fit them, but there should be some clear, hey, this is what we follow. This is the script that we follow, whatever it may be, but something super simple and a nice message. They also have a clear target list. I can't stand, and it's probably why I don't have any hair anymore, when MSPs are like, well, yeah, we have all these leads. They're not leads. They're just scraped people on the internet. Those aren't leads. Those are scraped people, and they're not bad. But if they're not a clean, well-targeted list, you're wasting the SDR's time. They're going to get scrutinized because they didn't meet their metrics. They're probably using the wrong messaging. You need great lists that will then yield better results because they're doing the same thing. They're repeating the same process over and over and over again, whether it's a call, email, LinkedIn outreach, follow-up. The pattern is the same every single call, every single email, every single lead, every single week. It should be simple and repeatable because you should have a system and they will help you run that system where you have cold lead or somebody that doesn't know about you to hot lead ready for a meeting. They bridge that gap. And that's exactly what this picture actually shows you. This is super, super important. When you're going through looking at those resumes, make sure you look for these traits. Make sure that they understand the tools and you give them the tools to succeed. CRMs, scripts, templates, and simple talk tracks. They don't need to read it exactly verbatim, but at least something that they could work on and modify to make it more for them. That is going to yield you the best results when it comes to hiring an SDR. And it's one of the best decisions you can make when you're ready for it in your MSP. But I want to start doing some more of these, more in-depth, more guided videos for MSPs, if that makes sense. And as you grow, you're going to need these people. And I have plenty more videos coming here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like button, subscribe button, notification bell, or if you're driving, maybe you've gotten to your destination, a great review on whatever platform you listen to the videos or listen to the audio on. I appreciate the heck out of you guys as always. I'll see you on the next one.